business, biceps, a little BS. Fitness mixed with finance, now you're really gonna see us as we're learning, growing. All your minds we're blowing, earning while we're burning. Shirts are tight, so games are showing. Resolve, evolve, absolve, it's time to make a move. Better check yourself, cause if you're doubting, no, we got the proof. Voices speaking loud, cause we're proud about what we can do. Tickling your ears with CPE, rooted in the truth.
Watch a scary movie without music. See how scary it is, right?
Exactly.
It's that thing. It's like, you feel like, oh, here it comes, here it comes.
It's that sense. It's the sense that brings it to life.
Absolutely.
We always say that, and just so you can know, like, not even just saying for the show, like, in our space, us and then a bunch of competitors we work with that we're like friends with, we could probably kick him a ton of work, because the reality is, you know, to your point, if it doesn't matter how good or how beautiful the girl is or how jacked the guy is, if the audio's off, it feels cheap and low budget, plain and simple.
Well, shoot, I don't even like it when every once in a while when there's some buffering and it comes back up and then the dubbing's off by just a little bit.
You're toast. You're gone.
Just done. I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your stuff, I really, really like the stuff that you guys are putting out on Instagram. Is that coming out of your head? Do you have a team that's putting that together? Like, who's doing that?
So the honest answer, it kind of goes like this. So I will basically set a vision and say, like, hey, and I'm going to keep it in the simplest way, but like, think of it like this.
Thank you.
I'll say,
pretend like you're talking to accountants.
No. I mean it more in the context of like, for your time. I didn't want to bore you, but
no, you never bore me. Are you kidding? Go.
We will look at everything from what's trending on TikTok, and not just like the songs, but really like, what's the beats per minute that are going? What's the tempo that's going, right? So my challenge and goal in life is always how to become familiar, even if you're new to somebody. And a lot of that comes to, let's just say, for example, there's a song, doesn't matter which one, that's trending, and it has a faster pace, right? If the next thing that they see is slow paced, it's going to feel off. In the worst way, excuse me, in the same way you just said, if you had a violin while the guy's going down a rocky mountain and there's rocks and boulders and it's trying to show you 4x4, it doesn't work. Whereas when you're driving with, you know, and you're understanding, okay, they're coming out of probably the video before this and the video after this was fast paced, exciting. So what we will do is a couple parts. We will create custom audio for like the commercials, because it is so impactful. That sonic branding is half the battle. When I always joke, when I tell people, I say Arby's, and then the first thing they're like, we have the meats, right? Like, it's cheesy.
Boom, boom, boom,
exactly, right? But the best possible way. And so for us, our goal is always, how do you make it so that way it doesn't feel like an ad, but just feels like an authentic video that was served to you, more like you discovered it. And so that's usually what I spend time thinking about. And then there's a team that'll go like, this is the range, this is what we're looking for. If that works, now start to build off. And then the team here, everybody's in-house. So like in this building, I can't wait for you to see it. We have our production studios here, our recording studios here. Everything is here. When we build for, believe it or not, in Boca Raton, Florida, there isn't a room that you can rent that looks like the 1980s. And so we built one, like a full-blown, 15-foot tall by whatever set to make
in a soundstage?
Everything right here in the office. And so our goal is suspending belief through quality, where you're like, okay, yeah, that does feel like the 80s, or that does feel like. And so they tend to have their guard down a little more, and they're a little bit more receptive to it. And so we always try to stay a cut ahead on that. Audio is half the battle, though.
Yeah, well, and so when this gentleman decided that he wanted to help out on this project, I was super excited. And so, you know, I'm going to do my best to help him get to open some doors for him. Obviously, with the music tech degree from Georgia Tech, he's going to go everywhere, anywhere he wants to go. But yeah, you know, if I can, you know, scratch his back,
listen, kick him to me as well, between what we do and then just people in our network. You know me, I always pass it forward in the very best way. Yeah, especially good people, right? Like, so if he's someone, even if he's brand new and green and getting going, great. Let's get him under our wing to help start feeding him things so he can get his hands wet and dirty and start to build it out.
Well, Evan Moitoso is part of the Business Biceps and BS family, as are you, Ryan Monahan.
Amen.
Our REDCON1 token sponsor. Not just of today, but you are our only sponsor as of right now, which is okay because I want to get people super jacked, and your supplements are. They're the best out there. Quality. You're going to talk about a little bit how you go through and make sure that the quality is up to the standard. All the new products that you are allowed to kind of allude to. I know that it's a secret lab, Willy Wonka type stuff. But I'm excited to have Ryan Monahan, the Chief Marketing Officer of REDCON1 on Business Biceps and BS, because man, one, you're a good buddy. We've known each other for a handful of months, and it feels like we've known each other forever.
I couldn't agree
but also,
more.
Man, I've had some really cool discussions with you about business, about marketing, about just things about life. And I think that you are wise beyond your years. I don't think you have really any gray hair. I think there might be some in the beard there.
I just keep it short.
Yeah. Or you get the Grecian man thing, right? No, I really appreciate when we're around each other. I feel like everything that I do is elevated because I have to be okay. We're going to talk about really intelligent things, and I want to be involved. I never listen to you passively. So I appreciate that you're here to share all of your wisdom to a bunch of finance and accounting people who really need help with marketing and understanding not only what they do to find their own passion, find their why, but also how do they project that to consumers, not just their clients, but also the younger generations that they need to come and fill their spots so that they can eventually retire someday, right? So
exactly.
We're gonna go through a whole bunch of stuff today, but I'm really excited that you're here, and I think the way that we kick this off is I want to know more about Redcon products because what you can't see right now is that as this camera is panning back and forth, there's a bunch of products over here that are placed perfectly, and I want people to know about what are the benefits of creatine? What are the benefits of protein? We have some MRE Light, right? We have some of the Grunt EAAs, right? What about the Total War stuff? All of these products are fantastic in what they do specifically, but taken in a holistic manner with a great diet and moderate exercise. I think we can go after corporate America, start trimming the waistline, and really get people back to where they need to be to have the energy to enjoy their jobs again.
You're exactly right. And I just want to add one more piece. We're not the only sponsor. I just want America and the world at large to know we wrote a $5 million check to be the exclusive sponsor to kick off the show.
But it's all paid in protein.
Mostly protein, a lot of creatine. There's no way you're getting 24-inch pythons like you have without them. But, we couldn't be more helpful. And on behalf of myself and the entire company here, Tim, we are honored to be a part of what you're doing, whether you had day one or day 1 million. What you're doing is breaking boundaries in the very best way. It's humanizing a very analytical job that unless you're in it, we don't understand it. I try to avoid finance or they avoid me, one of the two.
There are people too, okay?
That's what I keep being told, but they keep saying this word I'm not used to, which is no, and it's a very new term. But I am wholeheartedly appreciate being here, and I can't wait to kick off about supplements and everything we're doing.
So here's where I want to start. I just recently achieved another echelon of status in the human field, which is I just got certified to be a faster way to fat loss coach. And now my wife has been doing this for years. In fact, we're going to have her on the show next month. We'll do a podcast with her specifically on the faster way to fat loss and all of the progress over perfection, helping generally women, but there's a lot of men that are now coming in, which is the reason why I wanted to do it, is because I want to be there for the men who maybe they don't want to be a little vulnerable with the ladies, but they have no problem with other dudes. Like, hey, listen, here's what's going on, right? So I looked at it and I said, hey, Jen, how can I help you build up your faster way to fat loss client list? And this is what you're doing. And she said, if you really want to help out, why don't you become a certified coach, and then we can do this kind of stuff together. And I was like, well, then let's do it. I mean, I'm already into fitness. We already eat extremely well because one, she's really into health and fitness, but also her background, she's a pediatric nurse practitioner. So one of the things that would happen is moms, especially we were up in Rome, Georgia. In Rome, Georgia, there's a lot of sweet tea. There's a lot of Coca-Cola products, right? And so you would have these young kids coming in, and you could see as they were coming in that that's a type 1, type 2 diabetes kid. They're on their way to it, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at mom and or dad, and you're like, oh, this is the reason why. What they're being taught lessons in health and I guess anti-fitness by their parents who are just, whether they're beaten down by life or they just don't care. Those habits are being pushed down onto their children, and their children are just accepting it as if, oh, this is what mom and dad do, so this is my habit. And I mean, personally, that angers me. But for her, she looks at it and says, okay, I know how to fix this problem, but it's case by case by case. I'm going to talk to the moms. Yeah, the ones who prepare the foods, the ones that are saying, well, is that really apple juice in that baby's bottle? Because that's gonna, their teeth are gonna fall out anyway. But that's not good for the baby.
No.
So she's going after the moms to teach them better health, vitamins, all these different things that come along with the holistic medical applications, but also taking it into the kitchen and saying, look, all these little things that you can do on a daily basis that can help not only your child, but if you're showing them the good habits of the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, and things like that, then even salmon, right? Then you can also win in that diet war as well. Yeah. So what I've done is I've jumped on board with her, and my hope is that we can help many other people out there who are, my goal is that I'm going after the 35 to 55-year-old dude. If they're older, fantastic. I love jacked old dudes, right?
Amen.
But I want to go after the guys that are out there burning the midnight oil, crushing a spreadsheet, and let them know, hey, look. The amount of time that you poured into that spreadsheet, into that financial projection, into something that made your business awesome, I want you to take that same energy and pour it into your health and fitness, because if your health and fitness wanes, your productivity is also going to wane, and you will see it on your face, you'll see it in your countenance. Everybody will be like, man, you need to take a break. So how can I flip that switch? And that's why this REDCON1 sponsorship is such a big deal, because now I'm able to provide them at least a discount on the supplements to say, let's get the diet right. If anything, let's just get the diet right first. Yeah. We'll talk, and if you want to talk about like a little bit of fitness, maybe a workout regimen, I am here for you. I have those resources. But let's get the diet right first.
Exactly. And just to compliment everything you're saying, because what your wife is describing in the very best way is really something that I learned here. I joined in 2019. The brand was founded in 2016, really heavily focused onto bodybuilding. And then when I got here, we started to go a little bit more broad. And it was interesting. The step towards mass market wasn't the traditional route where you've seen a lot of commoditized products where it's like, how do you make a product for cheaper so you can sell it to more people? Ours went the reverse direction. How do we maintain quality, create value? But then what we really implemented, and I think the secret ingredient was empathy. And it's not a normal word you would hear around that, but I go back and I ask, people all the time around financial, and this will, for your audience specifically, it's very easy for people to say, well, schools didn't really prepare people for financial discipline and investment and smart budgeting. We all know it. And there's probably tried and true kind of methodology, like, 10% of this and this and this. But the reality is, in the same way, schools don't properly likely prepare people for financial, independence and sustainability. There's likely even less around the nutrition that's coming through. And then everything you just described, everyone's super busy. It feels like the world's moving at a faster pace than it ever has. And work doesn't stop now that there's the internet and it's on your phone 24 hours a day. You're just grinding. And so for everybody out there in your audience specifically who, when they wake up today, and let's just say today is the worst day they've ever felt, right? Today is the very bottom of that valley. The positive thing I can tell you, having served over 1 million customers and growing rapidly, we're in 80 different countries. And the one thing that has been tried and true is that it is truly a marathon and not a journey. And it's really one decision at a time. What we see happen all the time is And it usually happens, unfortunately, when guys break up and they go back to the gym, and there's three things that happen. They're at the club, they're at the gym, and they're buying a new wardrobe, right? And we see them, starving themselves because they're looking for that overnight, immediacy. But the reality is it didn't take overnight to get there, and it's unrealistic. In the same way as if I said, Tim, I have 50 grand to invest today, where are we investing? You'd be like, well, that's a lot we need to think about. That's not enough. You're not going to have enough to make that dramatic impact. It's those foundational building blocks. So for everybody in your audience, I think, and I know you haven't hit on it yet, but your secret weapon is creatine. I highly recommend, obviously, that. And then the other one is really protein. It's the building block of muscle. It will offset for everyone who's eating snacks and Twinkies. And I can tell you, we partnered with Hostess, so I have eaten about 900 million Twinkies in the last month, and I love every single one of them. But the key is how to fill that hunger before you get too hungry. Protein is a really easy, sustainable way. They don't taste gross anymore. Ours specifically has some different value props. We can go through and get into that part. But the reality is, don't beat yourself up. And everyone says that. But the reality is, if somebody made one good decision different every day, just one better decision, hey, I'm not going to eat 2 bad meals. I'll cut 1 bad down and do 1 better. It will add up over time. And I always tell people, after a couple of weeks and your pants fit just a little bit better, that's the win. Like, it doesn't matter, what others say when people are, hey, you've lost weight and you get that really good feeling, or you look stronger for your 9,000, inch arms. It's a great feeling, but that's also a lifestyle. In the broadest way, the choice to feel slightly better, to live a little longer, live a little healthier, usually comes down to just a couple basic choices, making sure they're getting their protein in, making sure to cut some of the junk food as much as they can. It doesn't mean to starve. It's that moderation, and it's the same kind of tried and true in our space, and the same as with the investment. But I think step one is to understand everyone's busy and don't beat yourself up. And today is going to be a good day, and if we fall off today, cool, tomorrow's a brand new day. And then they can reach out to you, and then you'll get them back on track. But it's a support system, and it's really just managing it day to day has been the secret that we've seen at scale.
Yeah, and one of your products that I really, really enjoy is your MRE. Not the mass gainer, but it's the MRE. It's just meal replacement, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So now, obviously, a lot of your products are veteran themed, right? Military themed.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure there's a connection there with REDCON1’s, right?
Yeah.
But that product in particular, what I've noticed is that, so I'll do a shake of that, and I know it says on the back you do 4 scoops. What I'll do is I'll take 2 scoops of that, and what I love about it is that I can taste the oats in it. In fact, I chew on them, and if you look on the back of for the nutrition facts, the first ingredient is there. It's oats. Right? Yep. It's like, oh, they're actually putting really good stuff in here. And when you start walking down, there's no ingredients in there that I can't pronounce, right? So it's like that looks like quality ingredients that I want to put in my body, because just like you can make good decisions over time, a bad decision is that you keep taking something that has a little bit of aspartame or something that's in it, and then now all of a sudden you have cancer. Like, well, how did I do that? I'm such a healthy person. Well, that Diet Coke that you've been drinking every day for 365 days, hey, that's probably not the best thing for you,
True.
So, and there are people out there in my family that really enjoy Diet Coke. But what I love about the MRE, I'll take 2 scoops of that, and I'll take 2 scoops of the ISO protein. Yep. So I still get the protein load that I want. And in fact, it ends up being about 75 grams of protein, which is essentially like 60% of what I need for the day.
Sure. Crushing it.
And which is awesome. But what I'll do is I have a fasting window that I basically do black coffee before 10 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock I'll have this shake. There have been times that thing fills me up so much. There have been times I've forgotten to eat lunch, and it's not like I get hungry. It's just that whatever's in that is really, it's supplying my body with everything that it needs, to where I'm not feeling that I need to be going to grab like some peanuts or anything to just like stuff in my face to get me good to the next 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So that product you have, I love that product. And I didn't mean to make it a meal replacement. It just has become that, because it's like I'm not hungry, so I'm one of those guys that if I'm not hungry, I'm just like not going to force. I'm not planning to be a power lifter or a bodybuilder, right? I want to keep that svelte look.
Yeah,
right.
Jacked.
So I really like that product. That's one. And when you start mixing these things together throughout the day, I will stack Redcon supplements all day long, man, all day long. In fact, one of the things that we've been able to do, and with your help, is start to help some of our athletes get into their own nutrition.
Yeah.
And so when I say our athletes, it's Savannah Bananas, right? And what I've really appreciated with what Redcon has done for us is that we know that over the course of a really hot summer, dog days of summer, right? Which, by the way, we're past it now, which is beautiful. I love the weather. But these guys, they just slough off weight. They're out there doing backflips and tricks and playing baseball and getting on buses and riding planes, all these things, right? One thing that they can't do when they're on the road is that currently they just don't have the best nutrition, and that's not really their fault.
No,
I actually wear it more as it's my fault because I have not taken the steps in order to put the right nutrition in front of them. But now with Redcon 1 coming along and saying, hey guys, we're going to do something a little bit different so that you guys can have this proper nutrition. Now it's all on them. If I hear somebody come and say, oh yeah, I'm feeling kind of weak, it's like, well, show me what you're eating.
Exactly.
Have you made any orders? I've looked at the Redcon orders. You're not ordering anything. Why?
Exactly.
Right? So all of these things that you guys are doing for me and all different spheres of influence that I'm in, I extremely appreciate what Redcon 1 brings to the table, because you guys, you put your money where your mouth is, and your products just they're best in class.
Well, and I can tell you, real quick on the protein, because I think that's an important one that you hit on, and what differentiates it, because probably 99% of the people listening probably are like, ew, protein's gross and chalky and tastes nasty. And that's not a misconception. It's true to some proteins, especially if they haven't had them in a bunch of years. The one you're describing, and that's the full blown with the carbs, and then there's an MRE light version for if people don't want as many carbs. Still
we have it on the
protein.
table.
There we go. Perfect. And so the key differentiation, and I always use this almost as a joke, is let's say we all went to the gym, or let's say I did CrossFit today, you did spin it. Well, you're going to get jacked, so you're just at the gym getting the arms huge. But everybody's doing their different thing. I have never met anybody who goes home and then drinks a big glass of whole milk ever. Never. I've never seen it. Yet 99% of the proteins out there are whey-based or a whey blend. And it's not bad. But what we found early on is about 68% of consumers, from a recent study, but even early on when we started this, 9 years ago, was the intolerance or the sensitivity really to lactose. And so there you go. And so now here's this catch-22. I know I need protein, but every time I drink it, I feel worse. So am I going to drink something that makes me feel bad? No. And so MRE and MRE light, really the impetus was, is there a way to make a whole food protein using like beef, chicken, salmon, eggs, rolled oats, everything you just described, the things that you would normally make into food, but into something that can taste great? Well, the great news is, in the same way a whey protein shake shouldn't taste like a glass of cheese, the whole food protein really delivers a creamy milkshake like taste, because it's concentrated down so they can grab the proteins, but you're getting these protein sources from the foods you would already be eating. And so what we found, and what has been really successful for us, and really that white space, is we can serve a product that hits an array of consumers, regardless of their lactose issues, and in a delicious format. And then going back, obviously, to your guys, having the experience to see these guys and do their thing, man, they're not just athletes. And I have spent probably 3 hours of my life explaining to people what the Savannah Bananas are. And you had told me early on, you said you either, when you know it, you know everything, or you hadn't heard of it yet. And I think the world who hasn't heard is getting much smaller. Yeah. It's so expeditiously growing. I just saw you guys on Jimmy Fallon just a day ago, the clips and stuff. I couldn't be more happy for you guys, but everything you're saying is true. And the reality is, all of us travel. I was on the road yesterday. It's hard to eat great on the road. And so us as a partner to you guys, the goal is simple. How do we keep that product with them so they don't have to think about it? They're trying to do a backflip. One guy's on stilts. One guy's balancing a ladder on his teeth. DR Meadows is doing a quadruple backflip and then a cartwheel and a split to catch the ball. Very talented. But the takeaway is, they shouldn't have to be focused on those things. They are true world-class athletes. And, when you and I started talking, that opportunity, it's like, man, these are the people we would much rather have products in front of, not for the marketing essence, but really just I believe it's 80 games you guys play per season around.
Well, so actually this past was 112, but next
Jesus.
year it's probably going to be 150, 160.
Okay, so that's, you start to look at what is the body going through, factor in everything you just said, heat, travel. So now you have, the conditions with traveling and
just general
altitude.
Stress, cortisol.
Yeah,
right?
Everything. And so our goal is really, really simple. We want to make sure that they're so sick of eating great because it's just everywhere all the time that they just give in, tap out, and eat. So it's definitely an honor. I think what you guys are doing from an organization's perspective is something that I think business books will be writing about. I think Harvard Business School is going to be writing about you guys in no time. But it's not because you did something different. It's because you prioritized the people first, which is really kind of the alignment in which we have. You guys really understand that the only goal is fan engagement and excitement and entertainment. And that is delivered through the very best talent you guys can have. I watch the clips and I'm like, they did what? And then they did what? It's just every day the bar is raised in such a positive manner. But the kind of foundation, we were just talking a minute about the building blocks. Protein is that building block. It's how do we keep these guys charged and fueled and ready to go so that way, they don't get hurt, which then delivers the best product to the consumers. In your case, it's just the fans. So it's an honor and a privilege to get to even be in your guys' circle. Having been a fan from a distance from the marketing side, I mean, I had never been to a game, obviously, until, I had met you and there was that opportunity. But from the outside, watching the growth and just the attention it's commanding, there's nothing like it. I honestly tell people all the time, but it's because you guys stay true to your ethos of here's what's important and here's how we're going to do it. And so what you guys are doing, how you're doing, and where it's going, the sky isn't the limit because you're already there. You're revolutionizing modern professional sports. I'm waiting for the basketball version to come back. It'll be a Globetrotter version. I mean, banana ball, I'm waiting for you to cross into 5 different sports in the next 10 years. I can see it because you think different, but it's all centered around, really fan first.
Well, and I appreciate that. What I want to know, and thank you for those kind words. We are glad that you are helping our athletes and our coaches really not only maintain but get to that next level of athleticism through the inside of their bodies, which is really what we need to concentrate on those long seasons, right? So you have a really interesting background. You weren't always with REDCON1.
No.
You have a background that's quite extensive in the startup world. You've done some pretty neat things before you got here. I'm curious. I'd like to unpack a little bit of who is Ryan Monahan, because I think there's more to you than where it's culminated today, and I think that's why REDCON1 is such a great place for you to ply your trade, because of all these various experiences that you've been able to grab and hone your skill. So tell us a little bit about jump in the DeLorean, run back. We're at 88 miles per hour, and we're gonna find Ryan 10 years ago. And tell me who Ryan was and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So I would say, and I'll give you the fast forward version in the best way possible, because I want your people to be fired up. Really, if you were to start it with this sentence, I would say superpower in life is understanding 2 things, really. Where is consumers' attention going at scale? And then the second part is really, how do you build and nurture great relationships? Those are like the 2 things. So then you say, well, what does that look like from a business perspective? And a lot of people will default back to the things they're used to. Well, does that help with selling? Sure, but I'm not a salesperson. That's not my job. What it really bubbles down to is, if you can understand, and it was really around 2010, 2011 when, like you said, I joined REDCON in 19. From 2004 until 2019, I only ever had my own agency. But if you were to say what we did was, we really focused on where consumer attention hits the economics. So content meeting commerce, and really understanding those micro moments that are taking place. And so around 2010, I'm like, okay, the iPhone's been out for a few years. Everybody's on the internet. Internet rates are getting pretty nice on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. And then I had this woke up in the middle of the night feeling of just, oh my God, everything is going to change almost instantly. And I remember talking to, at the time, my business partners and staff and everybody. And I'm like, we basically got to throw everything out the window and start over. And they're looking at me absolutely like I was crazy, which happens here as well. But what the reality was, the tactics that had always worked, and I always like to say this, if we went all the way back to 1935 when Leo Burnett was crushing it in Chicago, right? The foundational principles of marketing haven't changed. Consumers want, a problem and solution. They want to see themselves as associated with a brand they can affiliate with, that it just makes sense, something that they feel connected to, their ideologies are in alignment. So if we can agree, the foundation of marketing and the principles are the same, then what is changing? And what did I wake up feeling, nervous about? And really it was attention is really going to get fragmented. So if you think back, you had MySpace and Facebook and Twitter, but everybody's attention was on a few platforms. All of a sudden you go, okay, well, what is social media? A lot of people thought it was a fad or something new or, an undefined thing for kids or whatever. But for me, it was really this like aha moment of it's really the state of the internet. And what did that mean was people were able to fragment into communities of like-minded people in content formats they liked. So what does that mean? Somebody may love long-form YouTube and sit there for 7 hours watching content, and the next person may be on TikTok, watch 9,000 videos, but they're not watching more than 3 seconds, right? So it was this like aha of where is attention going? And then how can you get a message across about a brand to everybody all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And it really rooted back to really one core principle, which is how do you build a relationship with a consumer that isn't transactional? It's something so much more. The transaction takes place to, buy a product. Sure, that's important. But 99.9% of products out there are commoditized to some degree, where there's a million other products that can do almost the exact same thing. Might not be the same flavor, but the reality is protein, there's a lot of products on the market. For us in this business, and really where I was focused on even then is, what differentiates somebody to, really buy in and become part of the brand to where they want to be an ambassador? They want to share it. They're wearing a really good shirt where your shoulders look like boulder shoulders on there. And it's not just because it tastes good. It's because there's something bigger and more to that. So basically around 2010, 2011, I walked in and I told my whole staff, I was like, we basically need to stop everything and start over, which again, I tell you, they thought it was crazy, but it really was, how do we understand where consumers' attention is going and solve tomorrow's problem that they might not know that they have yet or want, and be a step ahead? And then the second part of that really comes down to how can you lean in on the principles, but then apply them to these different mediums that are rapidly evolving. I mean, I hear it all the time, from other people in our space or just marketers in general, that the costs for the CPMs are going up on paid, channels, where Facebook was, a great buy. Now it's a horrible buy. Now it's a this buy. But the reality is it's attention shifting from different platform to different platform. And so it's kind of knowing where to put the stock in. So for myself, I had the privilege of working with a lot of great big hedge funds to work on a lot of the startup brands that everybody heard of. If you've ever seen a mattress in a box, there's a chance I probably worked at some level on that project. And that's really a great, in one sentence example. How do you get a 200-year plus industry to change overnight, where by default, everyone says, how can I trust something that comes in a box? How can I try it? I don't try it before I buy it. So the areas that we would focus on is, okay, what's the actual friction points? And then we would come up with the objection. So you went and laid for 12 minutes in a mattress firm, and no disrespect to it, but that doesn't simulate 100 nights in your own home. And if you don't like it, we'll pick it up for free. And so really the goal is, how do you radically rethink the consumer journey and put them front and center? And so for mattress, for example, it was, cool, we'll give it to you for a year. One of the projects I'm most proud of was a brand called Nectar. We started this brand, and it was some of the greatest growth and scale hackers I've ever seen in my life. Wow. It was one of the funnest projects, but it was because it was, if you were to say that think different like Steve Jobs has, that was the collected group that came together. The product might have been a mattress, but the reality it was the tactics were really consumer driving across every medium, testing and trying and breaking. So fast forward to kind of today, those same tactics that worked then don't hold true, right? Even the tactics from a year ago, and I don't mean tactics in a malicious way. What I mean is the messaging or even the visuals today aren't going to apply for us in 2 months from now. So everything is moving so much quicker. And a lot of times that we see, well, just AI fixes everything. But the problem is, it's like anything in your world. If I gave you a really bad P&L and I give you bad data, it doesn't matter how much AI you throw at it. The principle and the foundation, the input is bad. That's really how, we focus on it in today's current market. Where's the market going? So like, for example, GLP-1. There's no greater time to have a protein product in the world because of the amount of people that are coming onto GLP-1. And I can remember sitting back about 2 years ago going, holy, I'll PG it, holy crap. We're not going to have a fat burner business in 5 years, which was a core part at that time. And the reality is, I can sit here and cry about it because it's a nice piece of the business and we have a great product and it can stack up with anything on the market. But if consumers can buy a pharmaceutical grade one that's working with their doctor and getting the results they need, I can either, adapt. And I would say that's one of the key things you're describing is this adaptability of, cool, what do they need? And really it's routing back to, creatine's important and protein. And so what we did was we made, educated decisions then to say, okay, we don't need 5 fat burners at this point. We still need 3 because not everyone's going to want a GLP-1. Mm-hmm. But when you can see a market like a Weight Watchers, which entire business model is around, nutrition and education, offering these, GLP-1 products, it's not going away. And especially if it's coming out in an oral form here pretty soon, that means that now the consumers that are a little nervous with shots, now they have a pill form. If that's the case, it's how do you adapt your model to make sure that you're serving tomorrow's needs? So, for example, our protein shake has 40 grams of protein. There's a lot on the market that were 12 and 26. It's not that they're bad. It's just not what consumers tomorrow are going to need. Mm-hmm. And that's really how we focused on ensuring that the products remain both current and relevant, but serving tomorrow's needs that they don't even know that they have yet. So say somebody starts today, any like GLP-1 as an example, and then we'll get into some of the other ones, but the first thing the doctor is going to say is make sure you're consuming enough protein. Well, how much do I need? Well, make sure you're getting at least 40 grams per day. Perfect. This one Twinkie shake has 0 sugar and 40 grams of protein, and you can drink that in 3 minutes
and
enjoyably.
It tastes like a Twinkie.
Right? Yeah. And I can tell you that entire process of going through R&D with them, and I'll tell you, we've done flavor collabs and partnerships. Mm-hmm. When the flavor you're partnering with does over $1 billion in food, they're pretty particular on how something is going to taste. And so, that's one where it's like, how can you make a better for you product? And really, that's where I would say the market is moving to. Energy drinks as well. There's a lot of the big boys that are out there, the Red Bulls and the Monsters. We don't have a negative thing to say about them. We think it's awesome what they did. They've built a substantial market. It's a nice place. And the way we view it, though, is not that their products are bad. They have a humongous consumer base. Mm-hmm. Where we think the market's headed, though, is, we broke it down and said, okay, consumers want a natural caffeine. They don't want artificial. They don't want that hard crash that comes from, and again, I'm not disrespecting any brands. I'm just saying, from an ingredients perspective.
I've been there. I understand this. Yeah.
So it's, we went with like a green coffee bean because you said on the same podcast that, you drink your black coffee in the morning. So we go back and say, what's the most natural version of a product we can put into market that fits with what you're already doing? So step 1, go to, green coffee bean. Perfect. That fixes that. 2, what does the consumer actually want? They want energy. They want something they can feel. They want something that tastes great, but maybe they don't want, 30 grams of sugar at that same point. And so, we'll pull that out. And these are the areas where, our product line for your audience, what's really nice about it is every single piece is designed to be better for you, but not sacrificing quality or taste.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that I joked around with you earlier about a certain product, and that if I had this, and hopefully R&D and procurement are working on this, but
we are.
So when I go to a conference or a seminar or something like that, okay, so as a CFO of an organization, I'm usually all my entire day is done from 8 to 5. I'm answering everybody else's questions. I'm doing things for everybody else. By the time 5 o'clock rolls around, everybody else goes home. I have to stay and now do my job. So it takes me another 3 or 4 hours to get my stuff done, and then it's rinse and repeat the next day, the next day, the next day. So do I get tired? Absolutely, I do. And so the question is, like, when I do hit those walls, and I hit those walls, I think I shared with you one day that there's a few people, we have a Teams message, It's called, I think it's called It's Go Time. It's
Sure.
and it goes between Go Time and Beast Mode. But well, all we have to do is I put in a little GIF or GIF, however you're saying it these days, of a guy flexing, or like a penguin doing push-ups or something like that. And right back I'll hear, see you in the kitchen. I'm in. Blah, blah, blah. So we go down to the kitchen. I take this Redcon Total War stuff, right? Which, by the way, has 5 grams of creatine in it.
Yeah.
And so we take a scoop, we mix it up, we clink our mugs, and bam, down it goes. 230 crash? What crash? Because for at least the next 15 minutes, my face is getting itchy, my palms are itchy, right? I'm awake. But then I'm riding this thing for the next 4 or 5 hours, and I don't have to keep going back to a coffee pot. And by the way, I really enjoy coffee. I enjoy drinking it. I love the smell of it, but it's mostly a placebo for me.
Sure.
And that if I can smell it, it's hot, I put my hands around it, it wakes me up. But when I really need that extra kick, when I really need to focus, I really enjoy the products that you have, and specifically the one that's called Tiger's Blood.
Yes.
It's like you have I think you have the Sour Patch Kids. You have another one, but the one that's called Tiger's Blood. There's some ladies in my office, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's time for Tiger's Blood. And like,
I love that.
Oh no!
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, we're gonna go home. It's like, you get out of here. I'm gonna get rage, you know. But no, so what I was going with is that when I go to a conference or a seminar or something like that, naturally what you would see in a business setting is these giant urns of coffee, or tea, right? I'm not really a tea guy, only because it doesn't give me enough caffeine. And I mean, I'm not British.
Fair, me either.
And no biscuits. But I do like a hot cup of coffee. The problem is that even coffee can get kind of like, and also a lot of people don't make coffee correctly, in that it's too watery. And I know water is a main component of coffee, but if you don't strain the bean long enough, it's like that light brown. I like my coffee like black, so that it's been sitting in that beans. That's why I'll do like a French press or something like that, or an espresso. If I can get an espresso, I am in heaven, right?
Yes.
I really like the coffee that kicks you in the teeth. And like, whew, wow, that Turkish coffee, oh my goodness. Or shoot, when I come to Miami, we're gonna go get some cafe con leche. Oh, I love it.
Exactly right.
Oh, it's so good. But what I'm saying is that the normal thing to do at a conference is that the afternoon break. It's usually coffees. It's like maybe some cookies, maybe some fruit and stuff like that. That breakout is not. It's just one of those things where people just do. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. It's not that I don't think it's like because they're really tired or anything. They just do it because it's automatic.
Correct.
What I would love to do is I would love to take your products into these conferences, into these seminars, and say, hey, there's a table over here with REDCON1 products it's a little bit different. No, it's not going to punch you in the face like everybody says. Oh, I don't know, pre-workout, my heart. It's like, just relax. This is going to be one of those things where you're going to ride a wave, and then when you're there, you're going to be like hyper focused. You're going to be locked in. And I'm going to own you for the next 3 hours, and you're going to end your day going to a happy hour, and you'll be like, you feel good. I think you don't have to pee all the time because of the diuretic effect of caffeine.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, I'm not just saying it because we're here. I always tell everybody, you are the greatest advocate on the planet for Total War, and not just saying it. The way, for everybody who's out there, I will get a text at least once a week with one of the products that you're here and you have it out there. So you're not just saying it, you actually live it. In fact, you were taking the products well before, we ever even spoke. In fact, the connection through 9line, through Tyler, who introduced the two of us, the very first second you texted, you had, the sample pack right on your desk. And so I was like, this is my guy. Like, I know he's the one. But in the same way, I always try to explain this to your same when someone's like, oh, I don't take that, my skin will itch, or the kick in the face, like all the normal objections. I tell them in the same way. I said, okay, take a generic energy drink, doesn't matter which one, that has 200 or 300 milligrams of caffeine with a bunch of sugar. What are you trying to get out of that? Go back to that. It's the energy, right? You want that. In the same way, our energy drink is 200 milligrams caffeine, but none of that sugar. The pre-workout, what's nice about it is it adds in a lot of ingredients like focus, your vascularity. You're going to get better blood flow. That itchy feeling. Yep, you're going to get them big arms just like that in the forearm, 100%. But what you're actually feeling are these other ingredients that are actually serving a purpose. And so I used to joke with people. We recently, within the last couple of years, launched an energy drink. Before that, our Total War, the ready to drink, crushes the #1 in every gym in America, and it has been for multiple years. And it's not because our formula is right on the label. Anyone could go, you could reproduce it tomorrow. The difference is we're just not afraid to pay for better ingredients and make a better tasting product. And, I used to tell people, well, why would you drink an energy drink when I can drink this, which also does now focus and, you're going to get better blood flow. The itchy feeling comes from the beta alanine. It's actually it's protecting the muscles as when you're working out and they start to break down. And so what ends up happening is like, why would you want water with, I'm like, you're in the same way that you're describing a coffee, like a Keurig is like a coffee flavored water. An energy drink for a lot of them that were out there were really just flavored water with some caffeine. The pre-workout is what I always joke in the best way. That's the real deal. That has everything all built into it. And so I think we should do something with your show where every episode from this one moving forward, we give away to everyone. You can come up with whatever, but pre-workout for every show and protein. You can come up with however you want, but I think if somebody is out there and has interest, we're not asking for their dollars. Just give us a try through you. You can pick however many, and we will donate to every show. You tell me, hey, we have 7 winners of pre-workout and 8 of protein. Sweet. The answer is yes by default. We just want that person who's looking to make a change. Give us the opportunity to get the product in front of you. To your point, when they feel it, they're going to have that energy and they're going to be locked in, man.
No, and that's what I love about, first of all, the creativity that you guys have, the way you're able to pivot, and the flexibility, I guess the nimbleness. Let me just see if I can pick another word that makes you agile. But the fact that you can even offer that to our listeners, I think that's fantastic, because again, there's a reason why Biceps is in the title of this show, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I think that I'm the most jacked person on the planet. I am not. However, I will say, John Cena, if you're out there, I've got a picture, brother, and I think I might have edged you out, but I'm not going to say that in a dark alley. I'm in the safe confines of this studio. So, but no, what I like about when you have business and Biceps together, right? Of course, there's a little bit of BS when you start talking about what happens in all the drama that happens in business.
Of course.
But you have to weigh both. People call it work-life balance, and I think that's kind of it's kind of an overdone sentiment, because the reality is, if you're a true professional, work-life balance, throw it out the window. You think about your job all the time. You're constantly moving. Everything you're seeing, you see something on TV and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. I'm writing that down to bring it to my marketing department. Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm going to write that down and bring it to my finance department, right? You're constantly thinking about it, specifically if you're a founder or an owner of a company, right?
Yeah.
And so when I look at it and I say, if there's a way that we can take the business, that way that we chase business with abandon, just like we have to do this, we have to go get this vendor, we have to go get this contract, we have to. Why aren't we doing that same thing with our health? It's like, that's the one thing we're willing to give up in order to chase down all these dollars, when it's kind of like, you're going to be spending those dollars on healthcare
on the health,
in the future if you don't do it at the same time. There's ways that this can run parallel if we do it correctly. And by the way, for those of you who are out there that feel like that you've already gone too far, you can come back from this. I've seen people actually crush diabetes and come back from diabetes, come back from cancer, come back from these things, where it's never too late in order to improve your health, improve your diet, and that's why I really, really like these products. And it's one of those things where I told myself because when this podcast gets gigantic, and people are like throwing stuff at me, it's like, oh, I want you to do this, I want you to do this. If I don't believe in the product, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to push it out there. I also need to believe in the humans that are behind the product and what is their mission. If your mission is because you want stronger, healthier humans first, and then the dollars come, then I'm on board, because I know where your priorities are, and because I'm one of those humans that wants to be stronger and healthier, right? Yeah. But I also want to be able to go into my colleagues. Again, 35 to 55 to 60-year-old, and I'm speaking specifically about men, but obviously there's women out there too. But I'm speaking to men because I'm a guy, and I know what it's like, that middle-aged spread. He's like, oh no, my abs, where'd they go? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't see my feet, stuff like that. there are ways to avoid those things, and there's ways to come back from that. But you really do have to get the mindset of, it's like the way that you develop unhealthy habits. When you break them, you have to supplement them with something, right? There's a hole there. What are you going to fill it with? And so if you can fill it with just one healthy habit over the next 14 days, that's all it takes to create a habit.
You're exactly right.
And then now it's the day 15, you're just taking it automatic because that's just what you do.
Correct.
Right? So from the product perspective, you've got me hook, line, and sinker. What I would love to do, if I could just rip this open, it would say corporate America, because I think my job in going out there to finance and accounting professionals is to tell them, hey, look, yes, you need to get those spreadsheets right. Yes, you need to get those performers right. Yes, you need to do all those things. But you also need to teach the people behind you while you're mentoring them on all these things, how to be a healthier individual so you can arrive at work bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and be able to deliver the best of yourself as opposed to half of yourself because you left half of yourself at home on the pillow because you just can't get out of that funk. Yeah, no, I think to dive in right on that, I think you've illustrated what probably majority of people who are looking to get started today are feeling. And maybe one way we could frame it for them just to help is in the same way I would be shocked if any CPA on the planet is doing longhand math. They're not. We're calculating and spreadsheeting. Yeah. And supplements are, I always say, are a bridge between you and where you want to be. They're not going to get you there on their own. Like you said, it takes work. It takes all of those things. But if we think about it from the context that if you can take something that makes you feel better every day slightly, right? You're a little bit more sharp because you have a little bit better energy. The question becomes that spreadsheet or the performer you just described, say it takes an hour, but because they're dragging ass a little just because they're exhausted and takes an hour and a half and everything slides by a half hour, they're working harder. It's like when you're reading a book and you're getting tired and you start rereading that line over and over and you're like, okay, it's time to close the book. I got to go to bed, right? Correct. But that same thing happens with spreadsheets. Same things happen with financial statements. You start looking at things start to glaze, your eyes start to cross. And it's like, oh man, I got to do something. And then, so when 5 Hour Energy came out, they took the market by storm because oh, there's a little bottle that you could take and there's energy in there. The thing is, it's like, for me personally, it didn't do anything to me. And I just didn't really like the taste of it, which to me, again, when you go back to the taste, it's got to taste good. Amen. Someone told me the other day, it's like about Red Bull. It's like, well, I don't like the taste. It's like, dude, it's Red Bull. You're supposed to shotgun that stuff, right? Sure. Or when someone I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, the BCAAs are gross. Like, who's eating BCAAs for the flavor? Right. But I will tell you, EAAs do have flavor in them. They're really good. The pineapple ones are amazing. But what I'm getting to is that there are options out there that if you are feeling like that, it's just, oh man, it just feels like I just can't get out of this funk. There are products out there that are safe to consume that on a daily basis that aren't going to wreck your body. And I would always, I was actually talking to my son, Luke, who you know. Yeah, of course. Last night, he's on his way to hopefully getting into med school, and we talk about this stuff all the time. And one of the things he was talking about is like, what do you share with your clients when you're out there and you're basically going to say, hey, okay, this is my workout regimen. This is what I eat. This is what I don't eat. But because people, they want to know that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And he said, so when you have these supplements, how do you tell them how to get these supplements? And I was like, well, the easiest way to do it is just to say, look, I mean, I could drink one on the show, but the reality is that looks like it's like totally rigged. Now, if there's a picture of me that's at the beach and I just happen to have a REDCON1 shaker cup that's sitting right next to my bag, it's like, oh, he really does use this stuff. That doesn't look like it was that was placed there. No. It's because I always have this stuff around me. And so what I want to do is I want to get to the point where corporate America starts making instead of large buys of coffee beans for the afternoon or sugary treats because someone needs that sugar kick. I think that if we could slowly take corporate America and say, replace those afternoon treats with a nice healthy protein shake with some EAAs to get you like that edge on the amino acids, right? The essential amino acids. Or on the side, take your creatine. People don't realize how good creatine really is for them. They think, oh, I'm going to get swole. And it's like, no, yes, that's a byproduct of how awesome that product is. I mean, your body produces it naturally. You're just supplementing it, right?
Correct.
It's not going to blow up your kidneys. You're not going to take this thing and down it like you're 400 grams.
Right. You're not the Hulk.
Grams. Right. It's 5 grams. You're okay with 10 grams. It's fine. But the other thing too is that as you start seeing the effects of what this stuff can do, all of a sudden you're like, wait, what's changed in my life? What was the variable that happened? Because many times people don't see that it's the stuff that they're putting in their body that is making them feel like that. It's like, oh, I must have got good sleep last night.
Oh yeah.
No, it's because you're stacking that with nutrition.
Yeah.
And your nutrition is you're going to be a better person at work. People are going to want to be around you. And also your work product is going to be that much better because your mind is clear, you're focused, and you're gunning it. So that's.
Well, think about how many people with the glutens, and again, I have.
Perfect.
And I'm not saying that it didn't exist. I'm not saying modern science and health hasn't evolved, but I mean, there has to be some correlation between processed food and the amount of, I'll just chalk it up to lack of health that's consumers and people are experiencing. Anyone who goes, I didn't meet many gluten-free, allergic to everything people, I'm allergic to everything myself, but it wasn't one where that was common, probably when we were kids, the way it is today. And, it drives into food. Food is that. And one more thing on creatine, for everybody out there, as a brand, we can't make structure or function claims. So I'm not going to. We are very compliant. We follow all the marketing, but there's a lot of studies around creatine and some of the benefits for degenerative diseases. And again, I'm not making the claim, but what I'm just saying is I would highly recommend people to research some of the stuff beyond just the fitness, but really some of these, benefits that studies are out. Creatine, believe it or not, is the most studied supplement in history. And yet there's that kind of, I don't want to say taboo, but that lack of knowledge where it's just like, if I take it, I'm going to get huge.
I'm going to get cramps.
Really. Right. Well, the best was even females, right? Like 5 years ago, good luck trying to get a girl to take creatine. It didn't exist. Now they're like, wait, I'm not going to become a dude. You're like, no, but you're going to be much healthier.
Well, not only that, again, this will go back to what my wife's research and everything that she's been doing, the postmenopausal women and what creatine can do for a postmenopausal woman. I mean, there are added benefits here. And it's just like, people think, oh, it's just got to be an elite athlete that takes this.
No.
And it's not. It's an everyday thing that we can use as a supplement, just like you would have a daily vitamin, right? So I think that there's a lot of education that still needs to come out, and hopefully from this platform and from the places where I'm going to be, I can not only be in front and espouse these types of healthier options, but also with the help of REDCON1, have samples ready to sling out. Hey, you want to try this? No, don't go buy this stuff. Here, try this real quick. Try this for a week. Just see how you feel, and it's kind of like the relief factor, right? It's like, all my aches and pains are gone. It's like, well, if you see the results, if you feel the results, then you might look at it and go, well, that was one variable I changed. Maybe there's something to this. And then once that domino falls, it's like, oh, maybe I should get out and walk a little more. And maybe I'll get at 10,000 steps. Maybe I'll try to go to the gym. Maybe I'll do a sit-up or two, right?
Sure.
With the idea of 10 years from now, our corporate America, they're all jacked with abs just popping out.
I love it. It'd be like G.I. Joe everywhere.
Right? I love it. This is a really neat partnership. I'm excited that REDCON1 has come on board with us. And I want to make sure that, that as we go out in the financial and the accounting circles, that there are people that know that if they come and talk to me, I can at least guide them to something that's a healthy alternative for them to put in their bodies. And you said something that I definitely want to touch on, because this is what where Luke and I's conversation went last night was, would you tell them, like, would you just give them a fitness regimen? It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm not a doctor.
Sure.
I'm doctor in business administration. Okay.
Amen.
But if you're coming to me and asking me about health advice, look, I can't tell you anything about blood pressure and all those other things that happen, systolic, diastolic, all those things. What I can tell you is what's worked for me, and what's worked for me is this type of diet, this type of regimen, this type of. But I know there's an endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. I mean, I took those classes.
There we go.
This just like everybody else did, right? But what I would do is I would encourage anybody. Hey, listen, just go talk to your doctor, make an appointment. Ask them about these products. Let them see the nutrition facts on the products, and let them help you decide that, because they're going to know whether or not you do need to supplement with a particular, like a creatine or an amino acid. I mean, a lot of them are going to look at it and say, yeah, this can't hurt you. Now, obviously, moderation is the key, right?
Of course.
It's not like you're going to get added benefits if you take 20 grams of creatine a day versus 5, right?
Correct.
But I would always tell somebody, hey, you should go and talk to your physician. Yeah. Because your physician knows you better than anybody.
Exactly.
And if they say, yeah, this is a safe product that you can supplement throughout the day, then try it. And once you understand, and again, it's not that you're going out and I want you to buy this one particular product. I just want you to feel better so that when you're in the office, you are a better colleague to the people around you. You're sharper, you're focused, and the younger people who are looking up that ladder and saying, what is it about that guy? What is it about that girl that makes them so dynamic? It's because they feel good when they're at work, and you can see it. You can feel it, that it's just coming off them in waves.
I think we can make this rule. I think we can make this rule for all of your listeners. If you know more about the diagnostics of one of your cars and what needs to be done versus your own blood work, it's time to get blood work. And
time to get blood work.
I think it's a key piece. Most insurances will do a free blood work every year, and it's just a healthy way to know where you're at. And there's no surprise, the body breaks down. It's part of life. And plus, guys over 35, things change. Everything's different. And so, there could be things, even if you're doing the right things and you're, following processes and you're not feeling a certain way. Step one, like you said, and I couldn't agree more, is get a health read. Just, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's the areas I need improvement. If you're doing it well, you shouldn't need a crazy amount of stuff, but there are products out there. And then obviously for your listeners, being the first sponsor, and we'll be here from episode 1 to 1 million, we'll make sure that every single listener gets the very best price every time they buy coming to you through your show. We want to make sure that they get that friends and family discount, no different than you or anyone would. We want to make sure that they have access to these products. For us, it's less about the profit and more about the consistency.
And again, that goes back to the message that we were talking about earlier about bananas being fans first, Redcon being customer first, and understanding that health comes first. And if you are feeling healthier, you are going to support us monetarily by buying our products, right? So the fact that you just said that, and it reinforced the original message that we had, it is true. Redcon1 wants you to be a healthier you. And by being a healthier you, other people are going to notice that and be like, what has changed? What is it about you? And then they're going to see you using a product that religiously, and not because you want to put it in someone's face. It's just that it works, right?
Correct.
So I'm curious if now that we're talking about the listeners. If I am a listener, I've never listened to Business Biceps and BS before. Yeah. Now I've for some reason have listened to this amazing podcast, and I get down to the point. It's like, well, yeah, but where do I find this stuff? Yeah. Where do I go to find your products?
It's going to be super simple. The website is redcon1.com. So REDCON, the number 1.com. I would do we can direct them straight to you. You don't know yet, but there's /Tim. So it goes straight and it'll drive your people. We have the full blown version with the podcast show, but the reality is we just want to eliminate all friction, make it very, very easy. For all consumers, we have a money back guarantee. If ever you don't like something, you can shoot me an email to any one of your listeners. I will make it right. in the very best way. Our goal is super, super simple. We're a choice. There's a million choices out there. We just want to play a small piece consistently for the next 25 years in your life. We're building a brand that's a legacy, in the same way Banana Ball wants to be here for the next 1,000 years. We're not building a brand, just to flip it to private equity and exit. We're building a brand that's going to be lasting so our kids can be around and be, really a staple. And part of that is just the slow grind over a very long time. So for everybody out there, we'll make sure that in the show notes and everywhere, they know exactly how to get discounts. We'll make sure that they're always on. And then additionally, if anybody's in the military, police, first responders, that is a core piece of our business. I know we spoke a little bit briefly, but I just want to spend 1 minute on that because it's really true to us. A lot of companies, and I'm not even talking in our space, just in general, everybody shows up around Veterans Day or Memorial Day, and they do the checkbox, and there's usually a social post and a thank you and all of that. And then I can appreciate what they're doing. For us, though, that's not enough. For us, it's a daily mission. We're a purpose, mission-driven company. And what that means is military first. Why? These are the brave men and women who are out there by choice to allow us to have this opportunity to live this really amazing life in the greatest country that's ever existed in humankind.
I love
and
it.
So I don't get into politics. I don't care left, right, up, down. Here's what I know. If we didn't have the men and women from 18 to 80 who busted their ass and served for us, none of this would matter. And all the bitching back and forth would mean nothing because it's the security that comes from that. And so for us, it's military first. A lot of the military men and women then transition into police, paramedic, first responder, firefighter, corrections officer, and of course, school teachers. I never leave them out. They're equal
don't forget
civil
the
servants.
dispatchers are there too, right?
Dispatchers
Okay.
and CPAs. I'll pop them in. Slightly different, but the reason I bring it up is if any of your listeners, if there's one thing they take away from this entire thing is, if you go to the internet and just go to military.care, it's going to reroute you to our site to a very simple landing page. If you know somebody that's in the military, we will send them a care package. We sent over 20,000 last year to men and service women deployed around the world. We don't promote it as here's the amount we've given away. We don't promote it as a dollar amount. You're not going to see it out there. But the reality is there's no one doing more for these men and women around the world, even if they're stationed away but at home. The letters that break my heart in the very best way, and I always say it, I sweat from my eyes, is when I get a letter saying, my niece or nephew is deployed wherever. It's the first time they've been away from home. They're homesick. They're somewhere and we don't know where they are. It's these products in the same way I said it's a bridge to hit your goals. It's a piece of home when they're deployed in Germany or Switzerland, wherever they are in the world. And then they get this product with a handwritten note from our team, from one of the team members, just thanking them for what they're doing, but also not just an automated, thing, but really a thank you. So anybody who's out there, if you have a brother, a sister, a cousin, a wife, a neighbor who's in the military, please visit military.care. It takes 60 seconds of your time. It's a form. Our team will work with the APOs to make sure that the products get delivered there. We handle everything. There's no cost. There's no anything. We don't market to you. It's really, really simple. So that's one. And the second thing is our energy drink. A percentage of every single can that's ever been sold, from the first can until in 100 years when, we aspire to get to a Red Bull level size brand. A percentage of every single can sold is donated to a military charity. The fun thing with that, though, is every quarter, anyone can go online, even if you don't buy our products, but you can vote for which of the 3 charities is going to get the donation.
Oh, cool.
So we believe it's energy with purpose, and our belief state is super simple. You don't have to buy anything, but if there's a military charity in need, doesn't have to be some of the big ones that everybody knows of, but if we can make an impact, shoot me an email. We'll put them in. We let the community pick where the money goes. Now there's ownership and collaboration between us and the community. So as far as for that, we just, that's the one piece I just want to make sure that really got drilled home is, we are a people first company, plain and simple. In the same way, I want every banana jacked with a 6-pack. I want to see the world's first, backflips on stilts. But I also want to make sure that the men and women around the world that are protecting our way of life are in the same way protected. And then that translates to everybody in a regular job like you and me, who are trying to balance everything. We're a product that fits everybody. And so if there's anything we can do across any level, we're all in.
So what I'm gonna make a commitment that the next time we have a conference where I can go out and either do a keynote or be in charge of some kind of a session, what have you, I am bringing supplements with me in shareable packs, so that if anybody's like, are you the REDCON guy? I'd be happy to be the REDCON guy, right?
That's right.
Because then I know that people are, hey, do you have any of this? Do you have any of this? Yes, I do. And in fact, I'll just wear a backpack and just start slinging it like I'm on the corner, you know?
Yeah.
No, I think I really appreciate what you brought to today. Ryan Monahan, the Chief Marketing Officer of REDCON1, REDCON1.com. When you go to the cart, put in BIZBIS. NBS, Biz, Buys, and BS, and you get 20% off discount for just being an awesome listener of our organization. So, and friends and family, anybody can use that. So, so please take advantage of that. Thank you very much, Ryan Monahan, to be on Business, Buys, and BS. And I think that this might go down as one of the best episodes that are out there.
Well, listen,
top 10.
That's funny. Listen, I am here at your disposal. We are in full support of what you're doing. You've become truly a family member of ours, both from the brand, but from me personally. So I can't wait till you knock Joe Rogan off from #1 and you are #1. I'll put it into the universe. I just want to take in our products. Amen. But listen, I couldn't be more appreciative of this opportunity to speak with your audience, and then anything we can do to partner even further. As always, it's a default yes. Just tell me where to be and where you need it, and we'll have it there.
I'm excited. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Ryan, and you go have a great day. Go get jacked. Swole's the goal, size of the prize, baby.
Amen, brother. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
Talk to you later, man.
Bye, buddy.